Hi everyone, Shabbat Shalom. So glad to see you here. Thank you very much for being here. And yeah, if I look like I'm just starting to nod off, just tap me, you know. It's a little bit, it's a 7-hour, I'm still working on a little bit of jet lag here. But we are really fortunate, you know, Lori Berman, a cherished treasure of our congregation, is such an accomplished pianist, and she was playing, working on Passacaglia, which is Handel, I think. And as she was working on it and playing, she realized that the melody or the feeling kind of enabled her and evoked was also some Israeli feel too. And she wants to share this piece with us, and so our service opens up with Lori Berman, please. don't clap in the thanks during services, but it was beautiful. Thank you so much, Lori. That was absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So our service is going to have a lot of Israel in it tonight. And that's just because, it's just who I am. We've been doing a lot of Israel for a lot of our services over the last few months, and tonight is definitely no exception to that rule. And just want you to know, we didn't make a program tonight. That's partly because, or largely because, I didn't really get here back in time fast enough to make the program. So there will be a program next week, I assure you. But let me tell you a little bit about what you can expect, and that is that I'm gonna just share a couple of thoughts throughout the service. And after each one of the thoughts, maybe a song that kind of goes along with the feeling. But first, let's begin with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. And you can find the blessing on page 121 in your Siddur. And I'd like to call upon Bob and Cookie Pollock for the honor of leading us in the blessing for lighting the Shabbat candles. They're actually going to do a reading on 121 first, and then they're going to do the blessing, and then we're going to do the blessing on 120.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
She's good at setting fire to things.
No, he's good at setting fire to things.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you very much. And now page 123 is where you find the blessing for Kiddush. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher letziyat Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat L'chaim. All right. So I'm going to begin with the first thought or two about this experience that I had. And I just want to begin by saying I'm aware that so many of you We're quite support. And by the way, I know there are a lot of people watching on our stream this evening, and so I'm speaking not just to the people here, but also on our camera. But I'm aware that so many of you were with me. You wanted to be there with me, and you were there with me. I know that many of you wanted to give tzedakah, and I did my very best to be a messenger of your tzedakah. I know that many of you were kind of following along on social media, and I'm grateful. I know that many of you were thinking about me the whole time and my family, and thank you, thank you, thank you. And so this, unlike any other experience that I've had, I know that I wasn't kind of there just going alone with my family, but it was something bigger, and I appreciate that. I suppose if I could just share with you probably the most important thing, I'm starting with the punchline. But Israel feels no different than it ever does, and at the same time exceedingly wildly different than it ever does and ever has. I know in this sanctuary, Eyal is here, who is a exchange kind of naval academy. He's at the Naval Academy. He's in the Israeli Navy, and or he's working towards that. And so he could probably share his own opinions, but he doesn't get the chance because I'm the one who's going to do it. But if you want to, another time, you can have your opportunity. But on the one hand, if you are in Israel, you will find, if you are, so long as, of course, you're not in the far north of Israel, or I guess the border communities with Gaza as well. But you'll find that things feel very much like they always do. Businesses are running, buses are running, everything's happening quite normally. If you walk to the beach, you'll see people on the beach. People are having a good time. Now, it hasn't always been this way. I understand it's been 3 months, and so things are starting to kind of create, as the people there would say, like the new normal. But there is an effort being made not to be kind of in a somber, depressed place. And there's an effort being made. And so when you're there, you really, only one time did I hear a siren, and did I need to go into a shelter. Other than that, one time, it felt very much like it always does. And yet, it felt qualitatively different than it ever has. There is definitely a black cloud that's just kind of hanging over all of the people who are there. Everyone. No one is outside of being affected. No one can go a day without being truly confronted by this reality that we have over 125, probably closer to 150 hostages still in Gaza at this time. Many of them are no longer alive, but we don't know that. Families are ripped apart, and you can feel the cloud. And depending on the person you meet and talk to, for some it's very heavy, and for others it is not as heavy, but everyone has it, and you can feel it. And so even though I say that it felt like Tel Aviv on a normal day 3 years ago, it also feels like nothing I've ever experienced before. And I think it's because it's not Gaza anymore. Gaza doesn't seem to be really the worry of Israel. It's what potentially could be coming down the pipe. I think that the people of Israel are worried about Hezbollah in the north, and worried about a potential uprising in the West Bank and Iran. And, uh, and so there is definitely this tangible feeling of fear in Israel, even though there is also a very tangible feeling of unity and strength. And so, and one of the songs which I had heard on a number of occasions, most recently was our last trip to Kikar Hatufim, which is the hostage square in Tel Aviv. And we were singing a song by Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav. And he wrote that the whole world is a very narrow bridge. In other words, it's a very scary place. But the important thing is just not to let it get to you. Don't be terrified. Don't be afraid. The Hebrew words are kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tsar me'od, v'ha'ikar lo lefached klal. It's possible I should have checked to see if it's in the book. Very likely could be in the book. Sorry, H.I.J. Cole. Yes, page 643 if you'd like, and I invite you to join me. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od Gesher tsar me'od, Gesher tsar me'od. Kol ha'olam kulo, Gesher tsar me'od, Gesher tsar me'od. Would you please turn in your prayer books to page 146, and when you get there, I invite you to rise for the Baruch Hu. Again, page 146. Please rise. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai, lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Yai lai 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 149. Join me. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, HaMa'ariv Aravim. Shema is on page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. On the next page, V'ahavta, join me. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha, u'v'chol me'odecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom ha'levavecha, Vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta baham b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam amzuzot beitecha Uvisha'arecha Limahan tizkeru Vasitem et kol mitzvotai Vitem kedoshim leloechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem Lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. So, October 7th, it was a war we didn't start, nor was it one we desired. And we still don't like it, and we still don't want it, but we have no choice. When we're attacked, we can choose to defend ourselves, or we can choose to give in to public opinion and just take it. Because I think on many levels, that's what the world wants, is to see the Jews. They want to be sad for us. They just want to see us take it, suffer, and just come back. But it's not the way it works. That may be the way it worked in 75 or 100 years ago in Europe, but it's not the way it works now in Israel. That's for sure. And we defend ourselves. And Israel is defending not just Israel and her borders, but all the Jewish people, and that includes you and me. And this is a war of anti-Semitism, far more than it's a war of a people against a Zionist idea. Because if it weren't, by the way, you wouldn't see demonstrations here. And if it weren't anti-Semitic, then you wouldn't feel the true pain the Jews are feeling in America. Why should we feel any pain in America? Except for vicarious pain of caring about our brothers and sisters in Israel. But we don't. We do care about our brothers and sisters in Israel, but we're also feeling the sting of anti-Semitism right here, and that just shows you that it's not really about Zionism, it's about anti-Semitism. And Israel is fighting a war for all of us. And that's something that we need to be communicating our gratitude on a regular basis. It's not just, by the way, a war of, as I mentioned, of Hamas and Gaza. That's becoming less and less of a threat every single day. And it's not, and yes, there is a war that is just kind of simmering in the north, and one, of course, that is simmering in the West Bank. But equal to the problem of fighting is also the problem of displaced people. 150,000 displaced people in Israel. 150,000. Kiryat Shmona and Metula, some relatively big towns in the north, are ghost towns. There's no one up there. Because aside from the fact that people have been forced to leave and evacuate, the fact is that no one wants to be there because the Iron Dome isn't able to protect them because the time between a missile firing and it landing, whereas in Tel Aviv, you've got 90 seconds to once the sirens go off. In Kiryat Shmona, you got 5 seconds. And so everyone's left. And where are they? And where are the people who had to leave their homes on the border of Gaza? They're in hotels all across Israel. 150,000 citizens of Israel are now living in hotel rooms. And, you know, I guess for the lucky one that's staying at the Waldorf Astoria in Jerusalem, it may not be so bad. But for the most part, I can tell you that when you cram an entire family into a hotel room, your patience is short, and people are frustrated, and people are struggling. And I'm touched by the fact that the hotels and the government has quickly created places for these people these displaced people, both again in the north and in the south, to stay. But it's tough on them. You know, the Talmud, there's a story from the tractate Yoma, which deals with Yom Kippur, and it's the story of Rav, who was the founding rabbi of the yeshiva of Pumbedita in Babylonia, and he once was describing what it was like when all of the people of Israel would hustle to Jerusalem to give their sacrifices. And the Talmud was describing just how crowded it was in Jerusalem, that people couldn't move and people barely could breathe. It was just so crowded and tight with people and their animals. And Rav said, he said, never has it been said that there is no room for someone in Jerusalem. And that's kind of the way it feels in all of Israel right now. That it may be getting a little tighter, it may be a little different than it was. Schools are kind of taking shape in a different way than they had prior to October 7th, but in Israel never was it ever said that there's no room. There's always room, and they're making it so. And though times are hard, yes, there is kind of this feeling of positivity, because they know that what's happening is hard, yes, but that it's something that needed to be done, and that there is a hopeful light at the end of the tunnel of a better life in Israel. And in the book of Esther, after Mordecai was dressed in the robes that Haman was supposed to be dressed in, the quote from the book of Esther is, La Yehudim hayta ora v'simcha v'sason vikar. The Jews, La Yehudim hayta ora, there was light for the Jews. V'sason, and gladness and joy and honor. And so I invite you to join me in singing. I don't think we have this one in the book, but I just told you all the words. So this is La Yehudim. La Yehudim hayta ora, hayta ora, v'simcha v'sason vikar. La Yehudim hayta ora, hayta ora, v'simcha v'sason vikar. Tielanu טהורה, ושמחה וששון ויקר. The verse that I did, the part of that song that I didn't mention, Ken Tiyeh Lanu, Tiyeh Lanu, Tiyeh Lanu, those words simply mean, may it be so for us as well. May it be so that there is light for the Jews, and joy, and happiness, and honor as well. Let's continue with, on page 161. On page 161 is a blessing for peace. One of the many blessings for peace that we have in our service. This one is part of a prayer for the evening when we talk about asking God to lay us down in peace and raise us up to life renewed. On page 161 it says, "Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms." Join me, please. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah, atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah, atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo, ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo, ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah, atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. So the Tefillah 164 begins with Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, and then goes on 166, 168, and 170. And I'd like to invite you to please rise. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, V'hi Yahagi Tehilatecha, Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, Ufihi Yahagi Tehilatecha. 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, אל עליון, עמל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אהבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. 168. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו שני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. 170. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים כל יום יללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated. So we went on a mission of tzedakah. It was unlike anything I've ever done before. And I didn't exactly know what to expect, to be perfectly honest. I didn't know if I was going to be literally helping individual families everywhere I went, or if it was going to be a slightly bigger process, one in which we were helping organizations that we felt, or I felt, very comfortable supporting. And it was a little bit of both, although considerably less of helping individuals. It was only when I created I didn't go out seeking out people, rather as if it kind of fell on my lap. Next door neighbors of ours, and where we were staying, or people that I had heard about who were struggling, and that was the first step. But the second step was figuring out, how then do we volunteer? How do we help? And thank God for social media and Facebook, because you put yourself on the right groups, and that your cup runneth over in terms of opportunities to help. And the most needy thing in all of Israel, I think, are the farms. Why? Because, there are so many foreign workers who come to Israel to work on the kibbutzim and the farms to help harvest the fruit or vegetables. And once October 7th came, all of the foreign people who were working left. For that matter, some of them were killed or taken hostage. It's lesser known of the people from Thailand, for example, who were murdered, or who are hostages right now. Similarly, there are Arabs who have those jobs as well, and right now it's a feeling of discomfort. And so many of the Arab workers are not doing so on these farms, and so much of the farms and the harvesting of the vegetables and the fruit, it's to say that it's at a considerably and qualitatively lesser scale, that's an understatement. They are struggling to get the food off of the branches and trees. And so being able to go in and literally help with that was an honor and a zechut, a merit. It was something that was, an honor. And that's not, but that's one thing. But of course, when you put yourself out there a little bit, you ask, what are the organizations that are in need of help? And you find out so many single mothers who are struggling more than ever right now, or the military itself, because they weren't ready for this in terms of so many soldiers being called up. And so it means that they didn't have nearly the sufficient amount of equipment or clothing or so many of the things that a soldier needs. And so they were really scrambling to do that. Or things that you might not necessarily assume, nor did I until I got there, that that there are a great number of people in the Army, soldiers in the Army, who have dietary restrictions, not kosher specifically, but as the one that we found ourselves connected with, vegans, for example. And so if the Army isn't able to sufficiently provide meals, the vegan meals, that groups and restaurants and people are coming together and helping to feed the various different soldiers who were vegan. And so that was on 2 separate days. My family was chopping vegetables and making lentil stew and putting together this vegetarian burger and a pita and packing up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, even thousands of lunches that we made in the morning, and then they were shipped off to the various different bases at 11 o'clock or 11:30 so that they could be distributed in time for lunch. Because the Army, it's not that they're doing the best that they can, but it's so many more vegans than they had prepared for. And well, what do you know? That's what, and that is the feel of of what's going on in Israel. Everyone's stepping up. This vegan restaurant called J17, they just stopped working for or making a restaurant for profit, and rather turned their restaurant entirely into one that was serving meals and making meals for soldiers. And every single day, we were there 2 days, but I can tell you every single day, a new group of volunteers would be in there chopping, cooking, sorting, making. And then later on, scrubbing and cleaning. I had that job also. And you see, and it's, by the way, it's not just foreigners who are doing the volunteering, but I hope you know that Israelis for sure are doing the volunteering also. And it's very touching. It's very beautiful, because you're seeing a group of people and a nation of people, and also an identity coming together and saying, we got to do this together. We've got to make this happen. We've got to fix this. Another place that we got thoroughly connected with, again, we didn't realize it was going to be, things just kind of happened organically and naturally, but was something called Hamal, which Hamal is, in Hebrew, is a war room, but in this particular case, that's just a euphemism. The Hamal was the place in which they got donations of clothing and other objects for displaced families. Because you leave your house, you didn't leave your house with everything. You left your house with a suitcase, and you needed other things, and the Hamal was distributing to all of the displaced families who were in Tel Aviv. And but one of the corners of the Hamal was an individual who was organizing materials for soldiers and bases. And I kind of connected with her just because it was such a powerful and meaningful thing to be able to provide for our soldiers in need. And this is one of the places and ways in which our synagogue really contributed. Really contributed, because we were buying so many critically needed things for soldiers. And again, when I say we didn't just go to a store and just pick out things that look nice. Oh, this looks really pretty, we should get that. We were sent out on a mission. Buy this, buy that, in bulk. We need head flashlights, lamps, we need thermal underwear, we need gloves, we need socks. Get as much as you can. And we did, and the synagogue did, for them. And we were even able to deliver these materials to base, which was very, very powerful. Very powerful. Because we saw firsthand, and at the very moment it was happening, we saw how Israel was addressing the very issues that it was facing. And I mentioned to you before about one of the songs which has become somewhat meaningful in Israel, which is Gesher Tzar Ma'od, the world is a narrow bridge, the important part is not to be afraid. Another one, Am Yisrael Chai. And the origins, by the way, of this song are unclear. You don't really see the word expression Am Yisrael Chai in the Torah. Even in the Talmud, you don't see it. The closest you see it is in last week's Torah portion, when Joseph asks his brothers about their father Jacob, and they say, and Joseph asks his brothers, he says, Ha'od Avi Chai, is my father still alive? And they say, of course, yes, he is, and they see each other and are reunited. And I think Am Yisrael Chai comes from, at least I believe, comes from that expression. Because Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel live. Od Avinu Chai, our ancestors and our fathers will continue to live. I suspect that you can find this song. I'm feeling that many of you know it by heart. It's not very hard, but in case you would like to read it, follow it 642 in the Siddur. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael 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 Chai. We continue in our service with our evening prayer for peace. It's called Shalom Rav. I think many of you are familiar with it. You can find it on page 178 in your Siddur, in your prayer. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon bechol hashalom. Shalom, Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech kedamcha Yisrael. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Nasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael, bashalom. So, we're going to pause now from a little bit of the, hold on, just give me 1/2 second while I adjust the camera. I am a cameraman as well as rabbi cameraman. So I just want to do one more thing, and that is get this other microphone. And what we normally do at this point in our service is use this as an opportunity to share some of the joys, along with share some of the difficulties and struggles that we've been feeling. And we do so by, if you want, no one has to, but if you want to, we always want to hear the things that bring joy. And so, and after each or every few joys that we hear, we sing Kehi, which means may it be, or let it be. I didn't want to say let it be because, right, it's copyright. So we'll say may it be. But then again, I think maybe Paul McCartney may have taken it from our Jewish tradition, not sure. But in the meantime, if you've experienced joy recently, and you'd like to share that joy, I'd love to hear it. So, and we'd all love to hear it. So, how would that?
Okay, I have a few things to be joyful for tonight. First and foremost is that you're standing in front of us, back home safely, and having had such a wonderful trip to Israel.
Meaningful.
Meaningful,
definitely. Wonderful is a strong word. I don't know if I would use that. It's like qualitatively different. Meaningful for sure. Probably the most meaningful experience I've had in Israel. All of the times, which is many. But keep going. Thank you for your time.
I also have to say that I so enjoy Laurie's beautiful, unbelievably talented piece. Just magnificent, and it resounds in my head.
Yep, quite
And the third thing, I'm sorry I have a lot to be joyful for, is the two people sitting next to me who are new in Annapolis, and I brought them tonight to Shul, and we're so happy to have them, Marsha Belmont and Elliot Becker.
So glad to have you. Thank you. Other joy? Right. You got your brown belt. That's karate we're talking about, not just that's the regular department store. Taekwondo. Mazel tov, was it hard? It was, but you did it. What'd you say?
It was hard to watch.
Hard to watch.
Five people laying there, sitting on our knees on the floor and kick 2 boards and break them.
You broke 2 boards.
That scared me.
Wow. That's amazing. Congratulations. Tell me another joy. Yeah.
I got a new cousin not too long ago.
Really? What story? Let me tell you where I got my new cousin. Target. They're giving away cousins left and right at Target. Pittsburgh.
My brother adopted a baby.
Mazel. Wow. So have you met this baby?
No, it was last week.
All right. Do we know when it is?
Yeah, they're between 3, so it's the baby right now. Still, because the baby came earlier.
I like the name between 3.
Yeah, between 3.
That's right. That or one of the Star Trek was it 3 or 7, 5 or 7. Other joy. Yeah, good.
We had a surprise visit yesterday from our granddaughter, who's 28 years old and lives in Florida. And she told us all about her new adventure. She has a Jewish matchmaking service. It's not a dating service, it's people who want to get married.
Oh my God.
And so, if anybody has that situation, let me know and I'll put you in touch with my granddaughter.
Let me tell you something. And then y'all can, by the way, will validate this for you. One of the most amusing things in Israel, and I mean this, is when you're sitting in a hotel on Saturday night, okay, and you look over in the lobby and you see this cute Orthodox couple, and they are hanging out in the lobby of a hotel, and you're like, oh, how sweet, right? Until you find out that that's pretty much the only date they're going on. It's we're just making sure we don't really object to this because you're looking at a married couple. They're just not married yet. And so, same thing, except probably not quite that much. But one of my favorite parts is like, oh my God, look how cute. They're going to be married. Other joy? Yes.
I celebrated my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, and my husband wrote beautiful.
Really? He's so smooth. So smooth. Mazel tov, happy birthday. I think after listening to a few, we can join back. All right, more joy. Laura, did you have your hand up? No. But now that Xander told you.
Alright, so I'm really happy to be here with all of you, with our whole baseball part of our family, and some beautiful, amazing friends who came out tonight. And this guy right here just celebrated milestone birthday on New Year's Eve, and I'm just so happy that he's still here in our area with us, and we get to.
He's a good boy. We like him. You should keep him. Don't return him to Target. No, he's a good boy. So your New Year's Eve birthday? Or shall I say your mom's New Year's? Because, everyone knows your birthday, but I'm pretty sure your mom did most of the heavy lifting about that. And you just kind of like that. So happy birthday to you, Laurie. And you too. Other joy? Yeah, good. Yeah.
I arrived in the United States on Tuesday. I'm a delegation from the IDF of the Israeli Navy to study a semester in the USNA. And I've been greeted with nothing but warm welcomes and kind words. And seeing this community and hearing you talk about Israel fills me with joy and with hope for better days.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to have you here. You're always welcome. Always welcome. Yes.
We are celebrating our 4th day of retirement.
Oh, really?
Really? 40 years of medicine, 15 years of being secretary.
Wow. Wow. And now what? 4 days into it, just let us just sleep in a couple days. We'll work on that next year, maybe.
Not this next Friday.
Mazel. Other joy? That's great. Wow, yeah, Joe.
Well, oddly enough, it's also our 4th day of retirement. But actually, that wasn't my joy. I had 2 joys. One is I was just so moved with Lori Berman's rendition of Handel with the 2 Jewish pieces in there. It was just so beautiful and moving. It really set the tone for this evening. And it was a joy. I thought we would, and so thank you for doing that for us. Secondly, my joy is my son Noah has now arrived for his semester abroad in Paris. So he arrived safely, and it's his 2nd night in Paris, Shabbat. So where do you think he went? To services. So he found a lovely liberal Jewish place to go, and they have now taken him in. They've asked him to bring the guitar, and so I don't know if he was into the semester, but I'm just very happy that, and he was also placed with I'm just very happy for him, so that's my joy, my vicarious joy.
That's more than my parents. It's a little.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
It was a joy to be able to meet you and the family by chance in the falafel show
One of
that
the
you
very
mentioned.
places that I mentioned about in my high holiday sermon, there's Tom taking me up on that offer and liked it.
And
Waffle
that was just one of 1,000 great things, and meaningful things that happened. And I would really urge everybody to go to Israel in the near future, because as the rabbi said, there are dozens of different organizations, different things that you can do, a lot more than you can just imagine, but information is right there.
What Tom did was something called SAR L, which is going to an army base and, with all due respect, doing all of the stuff which is hard to find people to do. And it's really, at all times, like on the one hand, I was hearing that SAR L was kind of struggling, and the reason why was because they really didn't have the infrastructure to oversee the various different people who were coming to volunteer at these bases, but at the same time, someone like Tom, because it's not his first time, he was exceedingly valuable. And wow. Yeah, Tom is one of 3 people from our community who I saw in Israel. Tom was one. Sarah Meisenberg, the daughter of Jody Meisenberg, who has been in Israel now for a number of, probably 8 years now, maybe, longer, who helps to run a para-sport center, which means kids with disabilities and adults with disabilities to do sports, and she runs it. She's extraordinary in that regard. And also Jonah Helpman. Maybe you remember meeting Jonah on Zoom when we did our gathering right after October 7th. So I was able to get to see Jonah too, and he's doing better, much better. So thanks, Tom, for sharing. Yeah.
I wanted to tie something into the Sorrell story. There's a group here called Volunteers for Israel that cooperates with Sorrell. What's interesting about people who volunteer at some bases, they're not all Jewish. They're from around the world. So they want to come and help, and they spend 2 weeks in Army base, Air Force base.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Other joy? Thank you for all the great joy. Baruch atah Adonai v'melech chasadim tovim. Praise you, our God, for partnering with us in the many joys that are in our lives. Now, along with joy, of course, is the recognition of struggle. Loved ones of ours are in need of healing and health, and we have a blessing that we say on their behalf. And our tradition here at the temple is, I'm going to begin words of this blessing, and then halfway through, I will give you a chance to add a name of a person who is in need of healing. And you'll do so, I'll just kind of look around the room, and when my eye meets yours, feel free to just share the name of the person who is in need of healing. You can say someone else's name, or you can say your own name, and you can say it in Hebrew or English, or you can just say it. So the blessing starts this way. Mishaberach Avotenu Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu Sarah Rechel Rachel means may the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, and Rachel. V'Yivarech v'Yirapeh Kolachim Shalom. May God bless and heal all of our loved ones who are in need of healing, especially the ones who we name at this time. And so if you'd like to share your name, I'll kind of look around this way, and when my eye meets yours and you'd like to share your name, please feel free to do so.
Mary Jo Hendrick.
Thank you.
Rita Kelly. Heather Raymond.
Michael Kahn. Leslie Merritt. Mark Schaff.
Richard Hoffman.
Leslie Harris.
Mark Bessley.
Nancy Pelesi.
Steve Kudak.
comment?
The Parks family.
Morris Bell.
Also Eric Harris, Mika Rome. Vishlach lehem bimhera, refuah shalema, may God send them speedily, a complete recovery. Refuah hanefesh, refuah haguf. Healing of body and healing of spirit. Tok sha'ar kol bnei Yisrael, amongst all who are in need of healing, and Omar, amen, and let us say. So on page 371, you can follow along with the words of Misha Berach. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We pause for a moment of silence. La 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 la. Ya 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 la 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 la. Shalom, Bimrohma. Israel, Amen. So why did we go? Why did we go? Why did we go to Israel? Why did I bring my family? Which I want 4 kids. Well, they're not kids any longer, but they're still my kids. Why do we go? And I say this, and I don't want you to hear any, this is me, and has nothing to do with others, okay, really. But when Hannah and I were talking about what we're going to do over this New Year's break, you know, it was hard for us to think about doing something fun when our brothers and sisters were in bondage. It was hard for me to think about lying on the beach when there were almost 200 hostages at the time. It was hard for me to think about having a pina colada while people who were living on the border of Gaza or who had been living at Kibbutz Nir Oz or Nachal Oz or Be'eri or Kfar Aza were displaced from their homes, and so many of them were murdered, and their homes were destroyed, and it was hard for us to imagine doing something fun. We had to go to Israel. And even if there was nothing for us to do, we were going to go. And we were just going to be there, and the people of Israel were going to see that they weren't alone, that they had people like us. And I know that you were with me. And they felt it. And normally when I go to Israel, I try my hardest to not come off like a tourist. I do everything in my power. I speak only in Hebrew. And I try so hard and the best thing someone can say is, whenever someone asks me if I'm an Israeli, that's like my jackpot. I'm like, yes, I got it. They asked me if I was Israeli. And this time, I found myself not doing that as much. Because I realized that people in Israel, and maybe at the Oneg Shabbat you can ask Eyal what he thinks, but people in Israel were grateful that their brothers and sisters, Jewish brothers and sisters in America, were there to be with them and to say that you're not alone. And is it safe to be in Israel? Which I've waited to say this. It is very safe to be in Israel. I felt more safe in Israel than I do here. And I stand by that. Because at least in Israel, I know who are the people who don't like me. I know where they are. And I know that everybody else likes me. We're in the same boat together. Here in America, I'm not exactly sure. From moment to moment, if I'm meeting or greeting someone who is with me or who is with those who try to hurt me. And I like feeling that sense of knowing who my people are. It was very comforting to me. And in the Talmud, in the tractate called Sukkah, which is about a sukkah, or Sukkot, in the Talmud, it quotes Hillel. And Hillel says, referencing actually going to Sukkot and being a guest in other people's sukkah, he says, the place that my heart holds dear, that's where my feet will lead me. He says, Makom shelibi ohev, sham raglai molichot oti. And so it's not in the book. Makom shelibi ohev, Makom shelibi ohev, Makom shelibi ohev, Sham raglai molichot oti. Makom shelibi ohev, Makom shelibi ohev, Makom shelibi ohev, Sham raglai molichot oti. In English, the place that my heart holds dear, the place that my heart holds dear, the place that my heart holds dear, there my feet will bring me near. So, our service continues with Aleinu, and it's on page 586, and I invite you to please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach Adon ha'kol, Aleinu l'yoter breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'ratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo samchatenu kahem, v'goralenu k'chol ha'onam, v'anachnu horim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. 591. V'ne'emar hayar Adonai, l'melech al kol ha'aretz, bayom ha'hu, yireh Adonai echad, u'shemo, Please be seated. So this is a moment of sacred memory. Loved ones of ours from our congregation are no longer with us. And we have a blessing, of course, that we say for them. And that is the words of the Kaddish. And some people have passed away quite recently. Others have passed away on this Shabbat over the years. We call this their yahrzeit. First, let me share with you two people who have passed away recently, and we're still within the period of Shloshim, the 30 days of intensive mourning. We remember lovingly Michael Raymond, the brother of Don Fry and brother-in-law of Marianne Fry. And we also remember Herb Abeles, our cherished, loving member of our congregation, husband of Sally. And we remember at this time these loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on the Shabbat. Again, it's the anniversary of their passing. Joshua Nicholas Butsky, Harriet Holstein, Elizabeth Saville, Joshua Siegel, Albert Cohen, Samuel Eisenstein, Albert Hoffman, Gerard Payan, Ruth Weisberg-Resnick, Olga Domich-Viola, Brian Wagner, Marvin Zeldin, Celia Schatzberg, Hillard Donner, Sam Greenspan, Michael McCutcheon, Rita Abraham, Ray Adler, Pauline Isaacs Filer, Ann Sachs, Frederick Stern, Albert Robert Gordon, along with Sylvia Ann Gordon, Alfonso Viola, Deanna Stelzer, Bernard Pollack, Danny Stelzer, Norma Ivchevich, and Loretta Viola Fioretti. And so in gratitude for their lives and linking their names with the rest of our loved ones who have passed away, we remember them now with the words of our mourner's prayer, which is called the Kaddish. It can be found on page 598. And if it's your custom, I invite you to please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayedech Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach li'alam ulamei amaya, yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha brichu, Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, damiram bi'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, huyasei shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to every bereaved heart. And let us say, amen. Please be seated. All right. We are almost done with our service, and I thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to sharing more specifics about the kind of things and tzedakah projects that we were able to do together. In Israel, I have a list and pictures and stuff like that. But in the meantime, I greatly appreciate your presence here. It's very meaningful to have you here because I know that many people who are watching on the stream and those of you who are here, also you're doing so to support me, and I thank you. So, yes, thank you very much. You want to do these or me? Gotcha, I'll do it. No glasses. So let me tell you about some announcements coming up. So, Sunday morning, pancake breakfast. It says here at 10 a.m., but I'm pretty sure it starts at 8:30. It may end at 8:30. Yeah. All right. So 8:30. If you like pancakes, you should come for the pancake breakfast Sunday morning. Also, by the two classes that I teach, weekly classes, Torah study on Monday mornings, and our Sages class, which is on Tuesday evenings, both are in person and on Zoom, and both return this week. So I look forward to seeing you for those various different classes. And for that matter, let's see. We have on January 21st, Sunday the 21st, a program sponsored by Hineni having to do with how green do you or your loved ones want to be. So it's Reform Jewish perspectives on burial and the different options for burial. That is on Sunday the 21st. Saturday the 27th is International Holocaust Remembrance Day, and we have a program here about the courageous heart of Irina Sendler. That is on, again, Saturday the 27th in the evening. Minion Munchkins, that is for children ages 2 to 4, Sunday the 28th, and dinner night out at La Posta in Severna Park. If you go there on the 30th and mention Temple Beth Shalom, I think we get a percentage of all of the food you eat. Now, trust me though, they don't say who got what at the restaurant, nor do they say how much you ate. So you're safe. It's all anonymous. Just go and eat all that you want and get a bottle of wine too. Get a couple of good bottles of wine. All helps the synagogue. So yeah, I think that is enough for the announcements. We're going to conclude with Shir Hamalot, Shabbat Shalom, just as a way of ending on a kind of an up note. But first, Motzi, By the way, Shir Malad can be found on page 600, I think 35, is it? Yes, 635, but first, Motzi, join me, please. This is not our normal challah. It looks like a different one. It looks yummy. Join me for Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. That's good challah. Did you make that?
I did.
Ooh. I'm thinking about sneezing on that challah just to make sure it's mine. We were with this young kid in Israel 1 week ago at Shabbat, and this kid was holding like this plate of cookies, and we're all looking at it. And, I mean, kid's 2. Sneezes everywhere, and our hearts break. We're like, no one's having this cookie. That is a way of making sure the cookies are hers and hers alone. Oh my God. So that's where I got the crazy idea of sneezing on the challah. Anyway, join me as we conclude with Shir HaMalot. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. And thank you so much to Jody Meisenberg and Jill Simon for serving as ushers, and Anna Greenberg and the Stearns, Carol and David, for sponsoring the Oneg Shabbat out in the lobby. Shabbat Shalom to you all. All right. Yalla, la, 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 yalla, la, 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 yalla, la, la, la,
Make 12 of them today. Yeah? And only brought 2.
That's my necklace. It's free the hostages come back.